Mary Lovely joins me now. She's a senior fellow at the Peterson Institute for International Economics. Mary, last year the Wall Street Journal called this the dumbest trade war. Today they repeated it. What is the goal that you can establish? What is the goal, if any, that you can perceive from Trump's tariffs and all the various demands that he's making here, given how integrated the two economies have been through the years?
Yeah, that's right. This is actually the US-Canada integration is actually a massive success story. President Trump seems to be intent on retaliating for Canadian retaliation to the initial round of tariffs that he imposed on them. And he's also, I think, setting up a situation where he would like to bring the Canadians to the table at USMCA a bit with their tail between the legs. And the Canadians have said no, they're not going to do that. So there's two sort of different narratives here, what President Trump is trying to achieve and what we might think of as a solid strategy to improve economic security and economic prosperity in North America, which would look, I think, very different.
Are any U.S. or Canadian companies benefiting from this? I mean, if that's the putative goal here, right? Trump wants to support American businesses. Does anybody have anything to gain?
Well, as with yeah, with tariffs, there's always some companies that gain because they face reduced competition. On the whole, though, we see what we've seen all along with Trump's push for tariffs, which is that we have a few gainers and massive losers spread across the economy. Now we know what's going to happen with these tariffs. We're going to see higher prices for goods that are now newly taxed. We're going to see rearrangement, if this holds, of the U.S.-Canada auto integrated auto field. That means that U.S. cars will become more insulated from competition, even with our northern neighbor, and more expensive. So it's going to start to really hurt not just small businesses, where there's been a lot of press reports on the effect on small businesses, but also gradually chip away at the competitiveness of entire industries like the auto sector.
You've been involved in analyzing trade for years, taking part, I'm sure, in your share of negotiations. President Trump has changed his justification for tariffs multiple times. It was national security, most recently as child labor laws. In this case, he accuses Canada of having unfair trade practices in effect. He's particularly focused for some reason on the dairy industry. Is it personal in your view? Right? I mean, is given, according to the Canadians, the U.S. side at the last minute tried to get Canada to end language programs to support the French language in Canada, or to force Canada to align its other trade agreements with U.S. tariff policy. That doesn't strike me as economic issues. It strikes me as a power play.
Well, I mean, it's as with all things with President Trump, there is certainly some personal aspect. There may be certain companies which stand to gain from a decrease in the Canadian commitment to requirements for the use of the French language. We don't really know what's behind that. But if we are to take what Mark Carney said at face value, and it has been disputed by the Americans, we are to believe that the Americans really added a bunch of demands at the last minute that really go beyond what is normally included, or really traditionally included in any way, including this demand about the use of the French language, but also including US, in a sense, veto rights over their ability to sign trade agreements, which has been a very active area of policy for Canadians as they seek to reduce their vulnerability by being so focused on business with the United States. So there's a number of issues here that really tapped into concerns about Canadian sovereignty. Another, of course, being reports that the US was asking for exclusive access to Canadian critical minerals, something that basically would begin to make that sector a vassal to the United States. I think Mark Carney was quite articulate in these concerns.
That sounds a bit like a colony. Very lovely. Thanks so much for joining.
You're welcome.